This is one of the best mental strategies I've learned as a runner. I learned this at my third half marathon I ever did. And it's really simple, but I think it's really powerful. And when I bring this up with people, they're like, oh, that's a really good idea. And so I want to tell you about this race and how I learned about this. I first ran a half marathon when I was dating this girl and I was trying to impress her. I didn't really train for it, and I ran the half marathon in like 2 hours, 20 minutes, something like that. And I only really ran it for her. She did another one. I joined her. And then after we broke up, I didn't really have a reason to run anymore. And so my mom messaged me a couple years later. This was January 2020. And my mom had messaged me a couple years after this whole thing with this girl. And she saw the half marathon and was like, Reese, you should run another half marathon. And I was like, I don't know about that. I'm not really a runner. And she texted me on a Wednesday. The race was on Saturday. So I was like, I don't know if I can pull this off. I mean, I knew I could do it, but I just wasn't training. And I gave it some thought and I said, you know what? Why not? It'll replace some of these memories I had of this girl. Find another relationship with running that isn't through someone else. And I'm so glad I ended up running it because it totally changed and transformed my life and led me on this path to, just pursue running as best as I can and be the best runner I can. And so what happened was I get to the race and I was like, I want to do like sub 2 hours. Like if I can get another 2 hours, I think that'll be great. And so I found the pacers that were doing the sub 2 hours, and I, decided to just stick with them as best as I could. I don't even know what average mile time that is. It's got to be like 8 something. Here, let's see. I can do some quick maths. So 120 divided by 13.1. Yeah, like 9-minute miles, something like that. So I stuck with the pacers, and I learned a lot from them because we'd be chatting and I'd ask them questions, and especially earlier on in the race, it was easy enough to be able to talk. And so I stuck through it with them, and then one of the pacers I was talking to, or I can't remember even if she was a pacer or not, but she was like with us in the group. And one of the things she told me, which would forever stay with me, is how she mentally breaks up a race, especially towards the end. And she explained to me, like when we had 3 miles left, she was like, it's just a 5K, right? Because, and this seems so simple and so easy, but it's hard to remember this when like you're in the pain cave and it hurts. But what she would do is like when she got to the half marathon point, like half of the half marathon, so where, 6 miles in, 7 miles in, depending on where you're at, she would be like, it's just a 10K. Or really what that is 2 5Ks. And for whatever reason, that I think reduces just this fixation on, oh, I have 13 miles, right? And again, this seems pretty obvious and simple, but she was explaining to me that, especially towards the end of the race, she'll be like, it may be 2 miles, but actually it's just 1 mile twice. And that reframe seems to make it easier. It's, again, literally taking it one step at a time or breaking it up into small bites. And even with like the last mile, it's not a mile, it's 4 quarter miles, right? It's 4 laps around a track, and then it's 3 laps around the track. And then even when you have half a mile left, it's, 2 quarter miles. And I've learned this, that this has just helped me not get so overwhelmed when I'm hurting or at an end of a race or trying to PR. And so, I think this is helpful with anything, right? And I don't think this is like super novel, but people who are just starting to get into running, I think it makes a difference, especially if you're running your first marathon. When you get to 20 miles in and it really starts to hurt, it's just a 10K, right? Or it's actually really just 2 5Ks. And that just seems to make it easier mentally to finish it out, I think. And especially when it comes to like ultras, this has been like helpful for sure, because at 50 miles it's like, oh, I have another 50 miles, but really it's just 10 miles 5 times. It's crazy saying that out loud because it's still 50, but I'm telling you, in the moment, this is just such a powerful thing to help you lock in, focus, stop whining, stop talking to yourself too much, and it's like, okay, it's just 2 5Ks, or I got 2 half miles left. And I've found this to just be super helpful and beneficial. So I hope that helps you, and I forever owe gratitude to this runner, Aubrey, for helping me with that, because it's something that I've used plenty of times since that half marathon. And I broke the 2-hour marathon or half marathon mark at that race, so it worked. It helped me achieve my goal, especially with no training. So I hope that helps. And if you're interested in more running stories or tips, I'm an ultra runner. I've set a couple course records, a 50-mile course record, 100-mile course record. I did a fun event running 10 marathons in 10 days, raising $20,000 for a charity here in town. So if you're interested in developing running or just learning some things that might be able to help you, hit that subscribe button, because I do videos like this pretty often. So I appreciate your time, and I hope to see you on the trail sometime soon.